When preparing seller's real property disclosure statements, there is one thing that you should always let your sellers know, and that is to always disclose anything that you know about the property. It would also be a good idea to do a walkthrough of the property just to make sure everything's okay. Just a reminder, we're not licensed contractors, plumbers, electricians, or engineers, but if you see something that is out of place, it would be a good thing to mention it to the owner so they can check it out, or at the very least, disclose it. The rule of thumb is to always disclose, disclose, disclose. A few things to remember. Every seller must fill out a disclosure statement regardless if they live in the property or not. Even if they are non-Hawaii residents, they still must disclose. The only seller that would not need to disclose are banks that take back homes through foreclosure. As the listing agent of a property, you are responsible to fill out the top portion of the seller's real property disclosure statement. Having a completed disclosure will help both you and the seller limit the liability you have when the property is sold. As the listing agent of the property, you are responsible to fill out the top portion of the seller's real property disclosure statement. Having a completed disclosure will help both you and the seller limit the liability you have when the property is sold. Once the seller's disclosures have been filled out, review it and make sure all of the answers are clear and understandable. A disclosure that has a lot of NTMKs, or not to my knowledge, filled out will only make the buyers question the seller's knowledge or lack thereof, or worse, think the seller is hiding something. Make sure the disclosure is initialed and dated on the 4 pages and signed and dated on the 4th page. The date is important as seller's disclosures are only good for 6 months. If 6 months have passed, make sure the disclosures are updated prior to giving to the buyers. Along with the seller's real property disclosure statement, you must also have the receipt of seller's real property disclosure statement. This document is given to the buyer to show that they received it. This is only an acknowledgement of receipt and not an acceptance of the real property disclosure statement.